So I went to his backyard and I started digging, and eventually I found some bones. So I grabbed the bones, ran inside, went to my dad. Dad, I found dinosaur bones. And he looked kind of shocked and surprised. He said, show me where you found those. Now, a little context so the rest of the story makes sense. He raised homing pigeons for many, many years. And over time, they get sick and die or just die of age, so he'd bury them in the backyard. Well, I didn't know this. So back to the story, I took my dad to where I found the bones at, and he said, yeah, son, let's not dig here no more. Let's go over there. And, yeah, it wasn't until years later where he shared with me that was his pigeon graveyard. So that was just kind of a unique story that I hung on to. But there's a lot of other ones too. I mean, from the time I lost my swim trunks when he was pulling me in the back of the boat, the car project we worked on together, swap meets, football games we watched. We just did a lot together, and I cherish those memories. Yeah, I called my dad a lot. I talked to him maybe 3 or 4 times a week over the phone, and a lot of the time it was just talking about how the day went, how work's going, about projects we're working on. But we talked about life a lot too, and he just always had good advice and was very supportive. So I'm gonna miss those phone calls and those conversations we had together. Yeah, I kind of asked for a better, cooler dad. I mean, he was a great guy. He was a great father, and I appreciate everything he ever did for me. I know he had a lot of friends. He's just a cool guy. Yeah, so he was only 65 when he passed. I know he had goals, he had dreams, he had things he wanted to do still. He was getting close to retirement, so I'm just sad he couldn't live a longer life and do what he wanted to do, continue what he was doing. So I'm truly sad for that, but I am very appreciative for the man he was and the father he was to me. So yeah, Dad, I love you, and rest in peace.
For those that don't know me, I'm Tim's, I'm Tim's other half, and we were together for 18 years, and we had dreams, but we had fun, and I had just purchased his mom's house in Bend, and we were gonna move there after he retired, but Brenda, wherever, wouldn't let him retire. No, and he loved, when he loved, you knew it. He was a good guy. I'm gonna miss him horribly. It's so hard at the house, living there with all these dead animals on the wall. Yeah, poor Josh, he has his hands full, and Josh said he called his dad about 3 or 4 times. When he was younger, he called him every single night. I'm Ryan. Yeah, I told my son, I go, why can't you call me as much as he does? And I just sit there and listen to him. But yeah, he was a caring, generous guy that I've ever met. And I met him off of a online, or what were they called, a dating, we met. Yeah, singlenet.com or something like that. And we met at Starbucks in Woodland. And I'll tell you what, I had just gotten out of a horrible, good times, a lot of good times, but a horrible marriage of 20 years. And I waited for a couple of years to get myself back together. And I'll tell you what, you talk about day and night. I was just shocked at how caring, generous, sensitive man he was. And I know that he loved so many people in here. I know. And where's Jason?
I don't know, over there.
Oh, hi, honey. I'm so sorry I called you. Yeah, that was his, work son. Yep, yep. And where's, what's her name? That he works with?
Katie?
Okay.
Katie.
Katie had another
Oh.
engagement today.
Yeah, that was his work wife, or work daughter, I don't know what but they had a lot of fun together. He loved going to work, and he was just a good man. He liked everybody, and everybody liked him, except some of the workers when he got mad at him. But I gotta tell you, when I said all these dead animals in my house, about 10 years ago, we went to an auction, and I ended up buying this whole room because it was the last thing and there wasn't any people, and I wanted one item in the room, and we ended up with, what, Josh, 3 truckloads bringing that stuff home, and so then I got into the antique business, and I eventually took it over about 7 years ago. And Tim was right there, you know, he would get on the computer and find all these cheap things and bring them in and sell them, and he liked that. He was like that before, huh, Cindy, before I met him, because when I walked into his house, the very first time, I sent a picture of it to Lisa. When I walked into his house, I went, oh, it's kind of like a museum in here. And it was. I mean, he had lots of taxidermy. And now he has a buffalo, he's had a zebra, yeah. So anyway, I'm rambling now. But I want to thank you all for coming, especially my 2 sons, and my granddaughter. And my brother, he's been wonderful. He's always wonderful. When I had cancer, he was right there. So, and he liked him. Everybody liked him. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Josh appreciates it, and thanks.
In business and just in friendship, and you know, my boys always enjoyed Tim because Tim was always there, you know, pretty much almost their, well, Matthew pretty much his entire life, and Jason and Zach pretty much, they were, what, 3, about almost 4, you know, when he first started working for us. So he was there all the way through it, and we had a lot of good times. And you know, I can only think of one time that I was actually mad at him enough to fire him, and it's kind of funny now, but it wasn't at the time. But I was so mad at him. We did a commercial job, and he kind of screwed up on the equipment a little bit, and he knew about it and didn't say anything until we went to go start it up, and the whole roof just became a balloon. And it was not good because they didn't put the ductwork together right, and by the time we figured it out, it was too late, and they set the equipment anyways and didn't say anything. So he got to help me on a weekend fix that without pay, and he was happy to do it. But that's the only time I can think of where I actually got mad at him. He was a good guy, and he will very much be missed. So anyway.
Neither one of us think we can get through this without losing it, so we're here together. So I brought a big guy up to help me out. He goes back, he still owes me a t-shirt, bail bonds me. If you look at the thing about Tim, you'll see a picture of Josh on a tricycle. And it's Pigeon Loss. They're in the back. That's how long we've known him. And Josh would always come over and, you know, popsicles and candy and everything else. I'd give his dad a hard time about his mullet. And he goes, you really wanna talk about hair, Ryan? I lost. We had one time when Josh was, his dad told him, if you make the honor roll, I'll quit smoking. And I said, Josh, if you make the honor roll, I'll give you $50. Make him quit smoking. I paid off.
I got 4.0.
And he couldn't quit smoking. But he never smoked for that, guys. Did he smoke?
Yeah.
Smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
He never said a mean thing about anybody. Never had a mean word at anybody. And if you did something, he would brag you up. When he moved to the new shop, and he'd come and see this, and he was proud of it, or your car, or truck, you know, and he was proud of it. And like Josh said, he always took an interest in everybody else. He wasn't judgmental. He was a very good man. And that's a man that cares about other people. And I'm happy. You want to tell them the story about the foot race?
Oh yeah, I can say that, yeah. So we used to race pigeons together, Tom, my dad, and myself, hand homing pigeons, and I think it was on the weekends we'd meet at the clubhouse and stuff like that. I don't know how old I was, but I was sagging my pants, like wearing them low, you know, because it was kind of in style, whatever. And Tom would always give me crap about it. And he said, and at the time he was 30, 40 years older than me, and he's like, I bet you can't beat me in a foot race. And my pants were, you know, down there. Long story short, I barely beat him, and he had 30 years on me. Yeah, I'm not proud of that one.
Well, that's about all I got to say, and it was a privilege to know Tim and Josh. And God bless you. And he's in our prayers.
Hello, my name's Mike. I'm Tim's friend. I got a lot of stories about that guy, but I don't think I'd be able to, you know, say it because I'll just get choked up. But Tim was a great dude. He was a very good human being. He was a great man. It was a pleasure to know him, be around him. Tim has taught me a lot of things, from, you know, building cars and, you know, racing pigeons. Never knew such thing existed until I almost killed his pigeons. You know, it was the first time I met him. Parked my truck a little too close to his pigeon coop, and he comes over, he's like, what are you doing? Like, what? He's like, you're killing my pigeons. So I was like, oh, I didn't even know you had pigeons. But that was my first time meeting Tim. That's been 20 some odd years ago. So Josh was knee high to a grasshopper pretty much, and always playing basketball. So yeah, I don't know what to say more about Tim that everybody already knows. I mean, he was a great guy, and so, you know, so Josh, I mean, we are truly sorry, man, and I already told you, man, anything you need, you call me.
This is where we shuffle off.
This is where we go.
I worked for another company and I sold product, so I got to know Tim through selling a product, and that's made in sheet metal form. And then I ended up changing projects. Jeremy brought me on and had me work with Tim, and so Tim and I, you know, we just kind of collaborated on a lot of projects together. I always needed that second pair of eyes, looking over an estimate. Tim would be looking at projects and, you know, want a little input from me on, you know, kind of what we thought would take to put it in. So that I will certainly miss. You know, Tim was an open book. You know, there wasn't nothing that you did not know about Tim's personal life. I remember just recently, he had some issues down below, and I think, you know, at first I thought, okay, he's keeping it quiet. And then next thing I know, I go out to the front desk, and he's told all the girls. And so I go, well, that's okay. And then one day he was gone, and I get this phone call from a vendor. And so I pick up the phone, and we kind of talk about what Tim was looking for. And she goes, oh, by the way, how's Tim's boys? I go, you gotta be kidding me, he told me too. It was just hilarious. So I feel like I know Josh fairly well, because Tim spoke of you very highly, very prideful. He was very proud of all the accomplishments that that you've done since you become a man. I mean, I know probably every little home improvement project that you've done. When I met Teresa, we were down at Long Beach, and we just happened to be together, so we all met there. I know Teresa has a big heart. Tim would come in and tell stories about all the people that you helped. And even though he was frustrated about it, I really think that's what he admired about you the most and loved. So, although things didn't really work out sometimes, he never lost that passion of wanting to help somebody. So, I find that through anything that I admired about him, that was probably the most that I found in the quality of a man. So, I will miss him. He will be irreplaceable. So, God bless him.
Coming today. I'm Brenda, Jeremy's other half, and Tim was with us for over 24 years. And I'll kick myself, I hate doing this, but I'll kick myself if I go home and don't tell you guys this story. So it is one of my best from Tim. I've got so many after 24 years, but it was probably 15 years ago, and maybe even 20, I don't know, it was a long time ago. It was when eBay kind of had started. A lot of people didn't shop there, but Tim did, and packages were constantly coming every day. I know we all get Amazon every day now, but back then that was not a norm, but for Tim it was. And we would, always be excited when he got his package, and we'd go into his office and look. And one day he opens his package and he was waiting for a gunsling, and what he opened was a youth-size jockstrap. So one, naturally being a youth-sized jockstrap, led for lots of office comedic responses. But I think there was a language barrier between gunsling and the Chinese language, so he got a jockstrap. And I literally had one in my Amazon shopping cart because I was going to bring it and put it on the remembrance table, because we literally tell almost every employee that story. But that was Tim. We never let him live that one down. And he's got some other what?
He's still getting
So we loved him. He will definitely be missed. But take that story and chuckle as you're going through a clothing store one day and see a jockstrap. Think of Tim, because every time I see a jockstrap, that's what I think of. So.